Thank you for downloading this podcast from Abrupt Audio. You can find more episodes of this and many other podcasts at abruptaudio.com. Subscribe today to get the next episode automatically.
Coming up on this week's Pix3l podcast, Apple faces biggest test of its iPhone security yet. Netflix revamp recommendations. Twitter bug exposed email addresses and phone numbers. And will iPhone graphics catch up to that of the PS4 and Xbox One in 2017?
You're listening to the Pix3l podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Pix3l podcast. You're listening to episode 3, and as always, we have Martin.
Hello.
And Edson.
Hello.
Just some housekeeping before we get the episode started. Don't forget you can listen to the podcast on the iTunes store. And if you are listening to us on iTunes, don't forget give us a cheeky little rate as it helps promote the podcast further on iTunes. If you're an Android user, don't forget to download the Audio Boom app where you can get us there. And of course, visit the Abrupt Audio website at abruptaudio.com/Pix3l. That's Pix3l. And with that, let's dive into this week's weekly catch-up.
There's a band called 1023 Megabyte. They haven't had any gigs yet. You're listening to the Pix3l podcast.
So we start the Pix3l podcast yet again this week talking about Apple. They are facing a big test of their commitment to iPhone security this week. A federal judge ordered Apple to assist with the FBI into breaking into iPhone owned by San Bernardino shooters. It's now a high-profile case in the ongoing encryption debate, and Apple has responded by strongly opposing what CEO Tim Cook describes as a dangerous backdoor that could allow law enforcement to bypass the security code on an iPhone. The case at hand centers on the security code on an iPhone 5C. Apple's latest version of iOS allow an iPhone to completely wipe data after too many incorrect PIN entries, as well as the ability to delay attempts to guess a PIN every time an incorrect PIN entry is detected. Both of these security features prevent the FBI from reliably brute forcing the iPhone 5C by trying to guess the code. It needs help, and it turned to Apple. Can Apple really help? It certainly looks like it. Dan Guido, co-founder and CEO of independent information security firm Trail of Bits, believes Apple can comply with the FBI order. I believe that all of the FBI's requests are technically feasible, writes Guido, in a blog post detailing his knowledge of the iOS platform. The key reason Apple may be able to comply is the fact that this is an iPhone 5C device and not an iPhone 5S or a more modern 6 or 6S. Now, Apple's move to deny the FBI in gaining access has been supported by many high-profile figures, including the likes of the CEO of Google and of WhatsApp. So do we believe that Apple are doing the right thing in making sure that our security is safe and keeping those pesky FBI people away from our data? Martin, I'm going to go straight to you.
I'm going to just have a bit of a quick history lesson here, just to know all my knowledge is correct. If I remember rightly, Apple's iPhone 5S was the first to use the Touch ID for the first time. Apple have always been quite hot on security, and I am for them here. I think if they leave a back door for the FBI, no offence, let's have a look at their hackers. They're people who have been previously caught doing other odd jobs, hacking into other people's. So if they're being caught by the FBI, other bigger and larger hackers can hack into our phones. It's definitely something that Apple should not invest in. I like the security. Like we said a few podcasts ago, security is key, and Apple are very hot on it. And I don't understand if they did, let's just say, theoretically, they did have this back door. Who's to say that any Tom, Dick or Harry will just come in and just start taking bank account details on our phones or anything else for that matter?
I completely agree with you, Martin. This isn't the first time that Apple have been asked to do this. A while ago, they were asked to allow requests to enter phone information and to comply with that. And Apple basically said, well, the phone's data is encrypted by this passcode and we can't access it without knowing what this passcode is. And we're not allowed to know what that passcode is because that is against what we do. And they kind of cleverly figured out a way that they could sit with not actually breaking the law, but at the same time not complying with what the government want as well. Apple are very clever at doing this, and they know that it's sort of something that's the key issue, the key thought that's at the heart of a lot of their owners, that their data is private. They want their data to be their data and not the data of the government, because if they make access to the FBI, then who else could be asking for that data and could be accessing it a lot easier, if things were changed?
I understand a lot of people's concerns about information about criminals or suspects, and we need to get this information and obviously prosecute them. However, if this is an actual thing that happens in the future, like innocent people will be caught in the backfire. Unfortunately, that's how it has to be. It has to be security lock, and that's all I can really say on the subject.
And our second topic comes from Netflix and the fact that they've revamped their recommendations for its new global audience. Before Netflix got into the business of producing its own programming, it spent a lot of the time emphasizing its recommendation software, the algorithms that would learn your taste and suggest the perfect title from the company's catalogue. Over the last few years, the feature faded into the background, overshadowed by the original content, Emmy nominations, and its rapid global expansion. Today, however, Netflix recommendations stepped back into the spotlight. Up until now, the recommendations you got were based on where you lived. People in the US saw suggestions for action or comedy flicks based on what other people in North America enjoyed. Going forward, an anime fan in Sweden will see recommendations based on the viewing habits of anime fans from around the world, and the same principle will apply to every catalogue or suggested films. This sounds like a relatively minor change, but it's actually a precise shift that the company has been putting off for some time. One that has been a year in the making and involved a team of nearly 70 engineers. Now, this is something Netflix that I've had a problem with for a while. I hate the fact that it used to, and I'm really glad that this has happened, because I used to see like a comedy recommendation. Like I use this example quite a lot when I talk about this. Like Blackadder is a comedy. Also, How I Met Your Mother is a comedy. Those two things are completely different, though. The comedy styles, the comedy tastes are completely different. And you used to, with Netflix, have a big sort of like, you just got suggested things by category, which is not how it should be. I'm really happy that they've actually introduced this. And now the sort of like, I don't know why it's taken them this long, but I'm happy that this has happened. Ben, what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's really good. And what actually does boggle my mind is the fact that a lot of people sat in an office and try to think out how they're going to make this work and actually come up with the algorithm that actually recommends you,
70 people,
the next
Ben.
season of House of Cards.
People.
70 people. I know, it's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I think anything that pushes better content to me in terms of recommendations is always good. Because sometimes, if you're not getting that correct recommendations, you do kind of feel like, oh, what am I paying that Netflix subscription for? Because without actually being able to think of something or someone to tell you something's there and you have to search it, sometimes, especially when you're on a TV experience, actually searching through and finding new content can be a little bit tricky. So you always want, the best shows to be sort of there recommended for you. The majority of people are going to pick shows that are there on the home page and not scroll through and sort of, go on the internet and go, oh, what are the best things on Netflix? They want them to be there, want them to be recommended. So anything that helps that, I think, is definitely a good move forward.
I too am for this bright future ahead of this recommendation scene. For example, I used to watch a lot of Walking Dead, but it always gave me other AMC productions like Breaking Bad. I know a lot of people like Breaking Bad, but I, for one, it just didn't interest me at all. But I always got it on my recommendation screen, and it was something that I got quite tired and tedious of, because then it showed me horror films, and I'm not a massive lover of horror films either. I like my anime, like my Japanese anime, and I love my old SpongeBob cartoons and stuff, but it never really gave me recommendations on that. It was always just on the few sort of series you watched, and that was it. So hopefully, for people like me who like delving into this world, you can learn new shows coming out and new experiences, and sort of experience what other people, lovers and fans around you are experiencing. Now something a little bit different. A man in Tennessee has been arrested after attempting to steal video games from a local Walmart and then urinating in the store after he got caught. Yes, I understand, it's strange. However, this happened before. A month ago, someone peed on the video games in Pennsylvania. News site WKRN reports the incident happened February the 13th at Walmart. My guess is he was a bit late for Valentine's. He thought, what can I grab? So, guys, we've all been there, haven't we? Let's face it,
No!
Well,
I have not.
No, you're going out there, you think, oh, use the 5-finger discount, grab a few games. If you're going to get caught, escape plan, we on the floor.
The 5-finger discount? What the hell is this?
Your hand. When I was growing up, that is what it's called.
No, yeah, I think this is more interesting in the article. Explain where this come from and what does it mean?
Okay, so back in my childhood, there was a TV show called That's So Raven. If anyone even remembers that show, I
never saw it, but I know of the show.
So pretty much there's an episode of Raven's brother. He got into a bad crowd and his friends were shoplifting.
Yeah.
Did he start peeing on the floor after they got caught?
No, actually.
No?
They just said, they said to Corey, Raven's brother, he said, do you like that keychain? And he was like, yeah, but I've got no money. He's like, you don't need money. You've got the 5-finger discount. And I thought, it's just stuck with me.
That is so cheesy.
It
just has stuck with me.
Yeah.
I mean...
He 5-finger face palms. That's what he did. So, I mean, going back to the story a little bit, it is a little bit ridiculous, but these things happen. Unfortunately, these things happen.
These things should not happen.
But they do.
I'm sorry.
First of all, it's just humanity, isn't it?
Twice in a month.
First of all, what the hell was what games was he stealing? I want to know that. I want to know what $500 worth of video games him and this woman were stealing. And I want to know how this escalated into him peeing in the shop. I don't get it.
Video games have got so expensive these days, he probably only got 2 games.
That's I was going to say 2 games.
He probably only got 2 games, like 2 Call of Duties. That's about it, isn't it?
So anyway, WKRN also obtained the arrest report, which says that the man, John Gravin, and an unnamed woman tried to steal almost $500 worth of video games. The officer that caught them escorted the pair outside. He is now due in court on April 28th. He never did get that Valentine's gift for his girlfriend, though, did he?
Maybe this was the gift. It was a romantic day out in Walmart.
You know, it's the thought that counts. Talk about urination. Twitter basically, metaphorically, urinated all over their users today when a bug in its password recovery system exposed nearly 10,000 users' information, including email addresses and phone numbers, for about 24 hours last week. The company announced the news in a blog post this afternoon, clarifying that the users' passwords were not at risk and no accounts were breached. Twitter says it has already notified the selected users of the bug, so those who were not contacted were not affected. A quote here says, "We take these incidents very seriously and we're sorry this occurred. Any user that we find to have exploited the bug to access another account information will be permanently suspended, and we will also be engaging law enforcement as appropriate, so they may conduct a thorough investigation and bring charges as warranted." So, do we believe this is good enough? Is this a sign that maybe Twitter isn't keeping their eye on the ball as much as they should do? I mean, internet security is a big hot topic at the moment. They're not the only company that's had issues in the past. Edson, do you feel that, this is good enough? Is this a worry for users on Twitter?
I'm honestly not worried. There's so many companies out there. We've had so many hacking groups. We've had so many things happen to big companies that have such a massive online presence that have shown email addresses. They've shown things like this. There was one that I can remember on Boxing Day. There was a hacking group that hacked the platform Steam on computers, which is the platform that you play games on computers, and everyone had a random account show up on their Steam page. So you could basically see you couldn't do anything, but you could see people's purchases, you could see all their personal information, and there's so many stories like these that happen. And honestly, something like this is not that big, compared to other stories that we've heard in recent months, in recent years. This is just around 10,000 users, and that's not that many people. Everyone has been contacted. It seems like they can find and do know anyone that has exploited this, which is good. They're in contact with the authorities. I don't this sort of stuff, with it being an online world now that we live in. It's going to happen, and they've dealt with it seemingly very well. In my opinion, anyway.
I completely agree with you, Edson. I mean, in the realm of things, 10,000 is nothing. 10,000 sounds a lot on its own, but if I put that 10,000 against the 236 million monthly active users on Twitter, that is nothing. That is a tiny, tiny hair in the head of hair that is the Twitter bird. There is really nothing to worry about, I think. People just be wary. Change your passwords a bit periodically anyway. It's always a good thing to do that, and make sure you've got a really strong password and that you do maintain your account, and you should be fine. Obviously, check your account, make sure that you haven't got a message from Twitter to let you know that your account may have been compromised. And really, in the realm of things, in the scheme of other hacks that have gone on, and in the realm of the users that Twitter does receive every month, it is really nothing to worry about.
If ever there's a Minecraft movie, it'll likely be a blockbuster. Pixel Podcast.
And this week's main topic is talking about mobile gaming. An article has come out this week saying that phone graphics will catch up to PS4 and Xbox One in 2017, according to a leading hardware manufacturer. Smartphones and tablets are about a year away from being capable of outputting graphics on the same level as PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, according to a leading mobiles graphics processor developer, ARM. Speaking at a Casual Connect conference in Amsterdam, as reported by VentureBeat, company director Nizar Romdan explained it has been working with Nvidia, Samsung, and Texas Instruments on technology capable of rendering visuals on par with Microsoft's and Sony's home consoles. This is a milestone ARM believe will be reachable by the end of 2017. A quote from Romdan says, "Mobile hardware is already powerful. If you take today's high-end smartphone or tablets, the performance is already better than the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3s. It's soon catching up and quickly will do to the Xbox Ones and PlayStation 4. Now, what do you guys think of this? Do you think that this is something that will happen? This is obviously one person's and a couple of companies' opinions. They've been working with companies like Nvidia, like Samsung, and it seems like this may be something that is reachable by 2017. I don't know if this is possible. I would want more companies to sort of believe this same thing. What do you guys think of this? Do you think this is possible? Do you think this will happen by 2017, or do you think that we're miles away from this?
I think underestimating the mobile market is definitely a foolish thing to do. It is quickly becoming a massive money generator and also general buzzword for the sort of gaming industry. I mean, a lot of companies, even major companies, are making games for mobile. So that's definitely a big thing. But I think we shouldn't get carried away with ourselves and sort of think that we're going to see the sort of same home console games that we see on a portable device in, let's face it, under a year now. We're 2 months into 2016, and I don't think this is going to be a thing that's going to come this soon. I think maybe in the future you're going to be able to maybe plug your VR headset into your phone on the train and be able to take it away into that world and play that game in that sort of immersive experience. I think that is definitely something that is coming. Whether it's coming in that period of time as so soon as a year, I definitely don't think so. I think mobile gaming, like I said, has made massive strides and is definitely doing the best it's ever done with great mobile gaming experiences that that we've never seen before, and the devices are very, very powerful. But I don't think, at least in terms of talking from a gaming experience point of view, that we're going to get the same experiences on mobile anytime soon.
I'm going to disagree with Ben a little. Yes, the mobile industry has made great strides, but I do feel like it does have the capability of doing this. Obviously, we're introducing 4K into cameras now into our phones. Why can't we get the performance that we can get out of new generation? I think by the end of 2017, we'll be looking at it's surpassed the PS4. Like Ben said, we're 2 months in, and of the calendar year, and this is where big articles get announced like, oh, by this year we want this. I believe this, it will, by the end of 2017, we'll be at that point, and like I said, surpassed it, and maybe looking beyond consoles where they had to play catch up with the mobile industry.
I do think that mobile gaming is such a big thing. There's no doubt about that, but I think this article was very well worded, and I think the company ARM have definitely, I think they know what they're doing with this, because they've said these things. They've said they're working with these companies. They've said all the right words, and they've made it big. Ben was saying before we recorded this podcast that this article has been blowing up over the past week. And honestly, like graphic wise, the way they've worded it, that it can be true. Like it is true. Graphic wise on mobile games, it's going to be, and already is, just as good as like your console, your PC versions. Like graphics is something that can be definitely that's the easiest thing to catch up. Performance, the how big the game is, how much you get in the game, how much content, sort of the storyline, just how much is in the game is something that you can't sort of do in mobile games. So yes, the graphics may catch up. Yes, it technically will happen for 2017 possibly, because it seems like it's already happened. But I just don't know if, like, I don't know. I think they've done this. They've worded this correctly. They've made it so that they've come in the news. And people are going to be checking out their games now. And I think it's a more of a publicity thing that they've done this, more than a fact that mobile gaming is going to be on par with console or PC gaming in the future. I just think it's more of a publicity thing to sort of, like, I don't know, develop hype around their game.
I think that definitely could be the case. A publicity thing, something that's going to make people read, headlines such as, phone graphics going to be competing with PS4 and Xbox One in 2017 is definitely going to make people go, oh, let's read that. And then it's obviously going to, in turn, be really good marketing. I think definitely a very good marketing ploy, very cleverly done. But I'm, for one, very skeptical about the actual content of the article becoming true.
Ben is obviously right. This is definitely a marketing ploy. But if enough people read this article and go, yeah, actually, I could see that happening, people like-minded as myself, I can see a lot of people pushing companies like Apple and obviously other Android phones, and I can see this become a reality. As consumers, we want more and more. We want to get better and better phones, or be it anything else in the world. So I can't see no reason, and in a way now that it's sort of been mentioned, no excuse why we can't push the boundaries.
There's one more point that I want to touch upon, and that is that the definition of mobile gaming and tablet sort of gaming is definitely changing because of the way that mobile and tablets are being developed. You've got mobile and tablets now, over the past sort of like 5 to 10 years, have become very much like a PC. So you're getting better hardware in a mobile and tablet, a lot better hardware than what you used to get. And obviously now that means mobile gaming can, or quote unquote tablet gaming, can be sort of upped, and everything, and the development for this can be upped, and it's more moving towards tablets. To me, honestly, are very much they're mini PCs already. So I don't know. I know this could be a thing that could happen. This could be an achievable target. I don't think that PC gaming by the end of 2017, tablet gaming by the end of 2017 is something that's going to be on par with console gaming, but it definitely could be, and in the future, it definitely can be.
What do you get when you cross a joke with a rhetorical question? Pix3l Podcast.
Now it's time for the secondary topic of this week, and it's titled, What exactly is the reason to own an Xbox One? Yesterday, Microsoft sent a seismic shift to a collaborative gaming universe when they announced that Quantum Break, the once console exclusive to Xbox One, would emerge on the PC. And it also announced its day and its release. The shockwaves it sent to the gaming world created a type of popularization that only Microsoft can create with its PR and marketing style. On one hand, the die-hard Xbox owners felt betrayed. The other, gamers who could care less of the Xbox One, were elated not to be on the hook for purchasing an Xbox One for the title. Obviously, this has caused a lot of grief to gamers. Obviously, your PS4, they've always said, oh, this is a PS4 exclusive, and kept to their word. And now Xbox One gamers are they feel obviously betrayed and angry and frustrated. So as I open this up to Ben and Edson, we'll go into verses.
Okay, so I won verses last week, meaning that I stay on and I get to verse Edson.
And I'm a little bit worried because obviously the person that I voted for, I'm against, but the person that I voted against is now judging me. So I need to be definitely on the game.
A slight last-minute change as well to the way verses works. We're upping the ante. We only now have 30 seconds instead of 1 minute to make our case to the judge, which this week, of course, is Martin.
Okay, then. As always, I'll flip a coin to decide who goes first. Ben, as you won last week, you get the choice of heads or tails.
So I would like heads, and if I get heads, I would like to be... the question that we're asking is, has the Xbox One been a success this far? And I would like to say that it hasn't, and I'm going for heads.
It's tails.
So I don't get
So
that.
I get that it hasn't been a success.
And I get that it has.
Right, okay. Because that's interesting, because do you actually think that it's been a success?
I don't.
Because I think it has. So like we're actually arguing the points that neither of us want. This is going to be good. This is going to be real good.
Okay, with that, Ben, you are for, and Edson, you are against. Okay, Ben, you're going first, and you'll start in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so there is no such thing as bad PR, they say, and Xbox has had a lot of PR. They've been in the news, they've been covered a lot. Therefore, by that terminology, they've had a lot of PR, which has gone with the whole marketing ploy of the Xbox One. People know about it, people were talking about it, and that is the key, clever thing that Microsoft managed to do. And they are showing that they can make a difference, they can change, and they are changing their system, making it better, they're improving it slowly and slowly. But when Sony have their backs turned...
That's 30
Not
seconds.
enough time.
Oh my gosh.
Not enough time.
I'm panicking now. I'm actually panicking. I'm not going to have enough time to say anything. Oh, no.
Okay, so you got the gist of what I was saying.
Yeah, I did. And obviously 30 seconds goes by really quicker than a minute, obviously.
Yeah, and I was not prepared, so I don't feel I'm going to win this one.
So, Edson, on that note, it's now your turn
Okay.
in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so Xbox, you should not be buying one. It's not been a success. They started off by advertising TV, and TV when it's a gaming console. They shouldn't have done that. They've had to change what they're doing. Apart from maybe Forza, there's no real exclusive game out there. They have Halo, they have Gears of War, but those series have died down. This was one of the last few games that really was pushing people to buy the Xbox One, and now they're releasing it on the PC. They honestly shouldn't be doing this, and it's going to lose them a lot of customers.
Okay, yeah, pretty much bang on time there, Edson.
Yeah!
Wow.
Oh,
My judgment of time was definitely not great. I feel like I've lost.
Did I do it in 30 seconds?
It was about 29 sort of seconds.
Yes, seconds to spare.
Okay, this is now my thought process. And I feel bad, but Edson, you made some great points. Ben, you didn't really get off the mark, I would say. You made 1 or 2 points. And only because of that, I have to give it to Edson just for that. Ben, you didn't really get off the starting line.
I didn't. No, 30 seconds was not long enough in my mind. So well done, Edson.
Oh,
Well
yeah. I'm doing a little dance now.
So that brings the scores to 2 to Martin, 1 to myself, and 1 to Edson. It's really starting to heat up. At one point, I think we thought that Martin was never going to stop his lead, but I think slowly we might be catching him up.
Oh, yeah.
I seriously doubt that, Ben. But, you guys can always try.
Well, we'll see next week, won't we? We'll see next week. I'm ready for
and
this.
I hope to restore my 2-point lead next week.
Yeah, you'll see next week.
A clean house is a sign of a broken computer. Pix3l Podcast.
With that, I thank you for listening to Pix3l Podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it this week. All the notes and stuff that we've been talking about will be on abruptaudio.com/Pix3l. Don't forget, if you're listening for the first time, you can subscribe to us on iTunes or listen to us on the Audio Boom app on Android. We are looking for people to rate the podcast on iTunes. So if you do have an iTunes account, we'd love you forever if you drop us a rating on there. And with that, it's a thank you to Martin.
Thank you.
It's a thank you to Edson.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Pix3l Podcast. Thank you and good night. Or as they say in gamer speak, GGNORE.
You actually did it this time, guys.
Yeah.
That was great.
I know.
You said goodbye.
Because we got so
Oh,
much
good
stick
love.
last week for it.
You did.
Right, quick thing. Next week, no P topics, yeah?
No P topics. Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
I don't believe Ben. He's got something in his eye. He can see it now. He's like, you know what? It's going to be some P topics.
The weird thing is if I haven't edited the P topics out, then it's going to sound really weird if anyone's listening right now.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's yeah.
I feel like our dignity is in question, though, after that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a good one.
Edson's like, nah.
I've left. I'm going. Bye.
Oh, Edson, don't be like that. We love you, Edson.
Oh yes, we do.
Edson, come back.
Come back to us.
Edson.
Okay, that bit's not going in.